Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2015 one-act play, one of the biggest events of the year. I'm your host. My name is Callison.
Good evening, I'm Henry. Tonight will be an absolutely unforgettable night because our freshmen, sophomore, and junior will present a series of dramas.
Before the show, I would like to introduce to you our honorable guest. Let's welcome 系主任林建光。And our honorable judges.
Miss Wu Pei Lu.
And Miss Liao Yingzhi. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Also, there are some friendly reminders here.
Number 1, please lower your voice during the show.
Number 2, please turn off your cell phone or switch it to the vibrating mode.
Number 3, please remain seated.
And last, no food is around in the room.
Thanks for your cooperation.
Hey darling, your English is prettier.
Huh? Oh, this one your right hand.
Why don't you let the other one?
I never said that. You just told me to choose one.
But I think this one is more fashionable.
Alright, this one.
But don't you think this one is more suitable to join the party?
Fine, you know what? You choose by yourself. I'm going crazy. I just don't know why women always care about these trifles.
I just want to be someone like Shayes. She's at the edge of fashion.
Alright, before you make your decision, let's welcome our freshman's play, Trifles.
So, honey, which one should I choose?
Oh, forget it.
This feels good. Come up to the fire, ladies.
Now, Mr. Hell, before we move things about, you explain to Mr. Henderson just what you saw when you came here yesterday morning.
By the way, has anything been moved? Are things just as you left them yesterday?
It's just the same.
Somebody should have been left here yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. I want you to know I had my hands full yesterday. I knew you could get back from Omaha by today, and as long as I went through everything here myself.
Well, Mr. Hal, now tell me what happened when you came here yesterday morning.
Yes, sir. Henry and I came along the road from my place, and as I got here, I said, I'm going to see if I can't get John Wright to come in with me on the party telephone. I spoke to Wright about it once before he put me off, saying folks talk too much anyway, and all he asked was peace. and quiet. I thought maybe if I went to the house and talked about it before his wife, though I don't see what his wife would have made much difference.
Let's talk about that later. Now, just tell what happened when we got to the house, okay?
I didn't hear or see anything. I knocked at the door, and still it was all quiet inside. I knew they must be up. It was past 8 o'clock, so I knocked again, and I thought I heard someone say, "Come in." I wasn't sure. Not sure yet. Yeah, I'm not sure. But I opened the door, this door, and there in that chair sat Mrs. Wright.
What was she doing?
She had her apron in her hand and was kind of pleasing it.
And how did she look?
Well, she looked queer.
How do you mean queer?
Well, as if she didn't know what she was going to do next. And kind of done up.
How did she seem to feel about your coming?
Why does he ask me this question? Is he suspecting me? Why, I don't think she minded, one way or other. She didn't pay much attention. I said, "How do, Mrs. Wright? It's cold, ain't it?" She said, "Is it?" And went on kind of pleading at her apron. Well, I was surprised. She didn't ask me to come up to the stove or to sit down, but just sat there, not even looking at me. So I said, "I want to see John," and then she left. I guess you would call it a laugh. I thought of Howard and the team outside, so I said a little sharp, "Can't I see John?" "No," she said, kind of dull-like. "Ain't he home?" I asked. "Yes," she said, "he's home." "Then why can't I see him?" I asked her out of patience.
Hey. Calm down. Why is he so nervous? Okay, continue.
She just nodded her head, not getting a bit excited. Where is he?" I asked, not knowing what to say. She just pointed upstairs, like that. I got up with the idea of going up there. I walked from there to here, and I asked, what did he die of?" "He died of a rope around his neck," she said, and just went on pleading at her apron. Well, I went out and called Harry. We went upstairs, and there he was, lying.
I think I'd rather have you going to that upstairs where you can point it out. Just go on with the rest
Well,
of
my
it.
first thought was to get that rope off. It looks. But Harry, he went up to him, and he said, "No, he's dead all right, and we better not touch anything." So we went back downstairs. She was still sitting that same way. "Who did this, Mrs. Wright?" asked Harry. He said a businesslike, and she stopped pleading at her apron. "I don't know." "You don't know?" "No." "Weren't you sleeping in the bed with him?" "Yes, but I was on the inside." "Somebody slipped a rope around his neck and strangled him, and you didn't wake up?" "I didn't wake up," she said after him. We must have looked as if we didn't see how that could be, for after a minute she said, "I sleep sound." Harry was going to ask her more questions, but I said we ought to let her tell her story first to the sheriff. So Harry went fast as he could to River's place, where there was a telephone.
And what did she do when she knew that you had gone for the sheriff?
She moved from that chair to this one, over here, and just sat there with her hands held together and looking down. I thought that I ought to make some conversation, so I asked if I can't get John to come in on the telephone. At that, she started to laugh, and after that, she looked at me, scared. I don't know. Mr. Peters. So I guess that's all I know that you don't.
I guess we'll go upstairs first, and then out to the barn and around there. You're convinced that there's nothing important, nothing that could point to any motive.
Nothing here but kitchen things.
What a mess!
Her fruits, they did freeze. She worried about that when it turned so cold. She said the fire would go out and her jaws would break.
Well, can you beat the women? Help for murder and worry about the preserves.
I guess before we are through, she may have something more serious than preserves to worry about.
Well, women are used to worrying over trifles.
And yet, with all their worries, what would we do without the ladies? Dirty towels. Not much of a housekeeper. Would you say, ladies?
There's a great deal of work to be done on a farm.
To be sure. And yet, I know that there are some Dixon County farmhouses which do not have such roller towels.
Those towels get dirty awful quick. Men's hands aren't always as clean as they might be.
Ah, loyalty of sex, I see, huh? But you and Mrs. Wright were neighbors. I suppose you were friends too.
No, I've not seen much of her of late years. I've not been in this house. It's more than 1 year.
And why was that? You didn't like her?
I like her oh well enough. Farmers' wives have their hands full, Mr. Henderson. And then
Yes?
it never seemed a very cheerful place.
No, it's not cheerful. I shouldn't say she had a homemaking instinct.
Well, I don't know as Wright had either.
Do you mean that they didn't get on very well?
No, I don't mean anything. But I don't think this place would be any more cheerful.
I'd like to talk more of that a little later. Now I want to get the lay of things upstairs.
I suppose anything Mrs. Peters does would be alright. She was to taking some clothes for her, you know, and a few little things. We left in such a hurry yesterday.
Yes, but I would like to see what you take, Mrs. Peters. Just keep an eye out for anything that might be of use to us.
Yes, Mr. Henderson. I'd hate to have men come into my kitchen, snooping around and criticizing. Of course, it's no more than their duty. Duty, so right. But it seems that they mean to talk about her for not having things they up when she had to come away in such a hurry. Oh, things you want, but it isn't much to get you dirty in jail. Goodness knows. But I suppose just to make her feel more natural. She said they were in the top drawer of this cupboard. Yes, here it is. Mrs. Peters. Yes, Mrs. Hill. Do you think she did it? No, I don't know. Well, I don't think she did. Asking for an apron and worrying about her fruit. Mr. Peters says it was bad for her. Mr. Henderson said that Mr. Henderson is awful sarcastic in his speech, and he'll make fun of her saying that she didn't wake up. I guess she didn't wake up. Maybe. It must have been done awful crafty and still. They said it was such a funny way to kill a man. Reading its aura like that. Mr. Henderson said that what is needed for the case was a motive, something to show anger or sudden feeling. Well, I don't see any sense of anger around here. Wonder how they are finding things upstairs, you know? It seems kind of sneaky. Locking her up in town and coming out here and trying to get her own house to turn against her. But Mrs. Hell, the law is the law. Who cares? Better rules and not your things, Mrs. Peters. You won't feel them when you go out. Oh, she was piecing up quilts. Pretty, isn't it? I wonder if she was going to quilt it or just not it.
They wonder if she was going to quilt it or just nodded.
Oh, fire didn't do much up here, did it?
Yeah, and I think let's go down to the barn and get that cleared up.
Okay.
I don't know if there's anything so strange. Are taking out our time with little things while we are waiting for them to get evidence. I don't see us there's anything to laugh about. Of course they've got awful important things on their minds. Mrs. Peters, look at this. Here, this is the one she was working on. And look at her sewing. All the rest of it has been so nice and even. And look at this. It's all over the place. Why? It looks like she didn't know what she was about. Oh, what are you doing, Mrs. Hell? Just pulling out stitch or two that smells so very good. I don't think we ought to touch things. Mrs. Peters? What? Why was she so nervous? I sometimes so awful queer when I'm just tired. Well, you know, I must get those things wrapped up. I wonder when I can find a piece of paper and strings. In that cupboard, maybe. Oh, what? Here's a bird cage. Did she have a bird, Mrs. Hell? Why? I don't know whether she did or not. I've not been here for so long. There was a man around last year selling canaries. I don't know if she took one. Maybe she did. She used to seem real pretty herself. Seems funny to have a bird here, but she must have had one, or why would she have a cage? I wonder what happened to it. I suppose maybe the cat got it. No, she didn't have a cat. She's got that feeling some people have about cats, being afraid of them. My cat got into a room once and she was real upset and asked me to take it out. Weird, isn't it? Oh, look at the door. It's broke. One hinge is pulled apart. Looks as if someone must have been rough with it. Why, yes. find any evidence that they found it. I don't like this place. But I'm awful glad you came with me, Mrs. Howell. It would be lonesome for me sitting here alone. It would, wouldn't it? But I tell you what I do wish. I wish I had come over sometimes when she was here. I wish I had. But of course you were awful busy, Mrs. Howell. Your house and your children. I could come. I stayed away because you weren't cheerful. And that's why I also have come. I've never liked this place. Maybe because it's down in a hollow and you don't see it around. I don't know what it is, but it's a lonesome place and always was. I wish I had come over to see me faster sometimes. I can see now, but you mustn't reproach yourself, Mrs. Howell. Somehow we just don't see how things goes with other folks until something comes up. Not having children makes this hard, but it makes it quiet house. Mr. Wright ought to work all day and no company when he did come in. Did you know John Wright, Mr. Peters? No, I've seen him in town. They say he was a good man. Maybe he didn't drink and kept his word as well as most, I guess, and paid his debts. But he was a hard man, Mr. Peters. Just to pass the time of day with him like a raw winged nugget to a bone. I should think she would have wanted a bird, but what do you suppose went with it? I don't know. Unless it got sick and died. You were always around here, weren't you? You didn't know her? Not till they brought her yesterday. Come to think of it, she was kind of like a bird herself. Real sweet and pretty, but kind of timid and fluttery. How should it change? Tell you what, Mrs. Peters, why don't you take a girl in with you? It might take up her mind. Why, that's a real nice idea, Mrs. Howell. There couldn't be any objection to it, could there? Now, just what will I say? I wonder if the patches are in here and see. Here's some rats. I expect this has got sewing things in it. What a pretty box! Looks like something somebody will give you. Maybe her sisters are in here. Why, there's something wrapped up in this piece of silk. Why? This isn't her scissors. Oh, Mrs. Peters, it's a bird. But Mrs. Peters, look at it. Its neck. Look at its neck. It's on to the other side. Somebody wrung its neck. Ah!
Well, ladies, have you decided whether she was to quit it or just not it? Well, that's interesting, I'm sure.
We think she was going to nod it.
Mr. Hale, we have known all the ins and outs. Could you explain the wrapping on Mr. Wright's neck? We just found this.
Rope?
Yes, rope. It were abandoned in the yard. And someone saw you enter the house by stealth.
Did I really do that? Maybe you should ask another person.
No way. All evidences indicate you want the murder. I infer you forced open in the window and broke into the bedroom. Somehow he was drunk and slept soundly. It must be a trick. Then you strangled him to death. It must require some purposes. Spill it!
I don't want to conceal myself anymore! The man is unforgivable. He lent money to me and asked for high interest. We can just burden the principal. Therefore, he didn't demand us to return the money, but looked at us in scorn and talked to us with sarcasm. Their barn was once broken, and I made effort to help him. Didn't you know what he said after that? Stay away from my house, and stay away from my young pretty wife. Don't I know what you guys are plotting? He just imprisoned himself and his wife.
That's all I have known about. Women, money, and trifles in country. Let me send you to jail, Mr. Hell.
Let me just say, Mr. Hare, it's not a murderer. What I have said and what it should is.
What?
Let me just say, great attorney, great my husband, and great you old man. On that night, he was snoring in the bath. I was in the kitchen. All of a sudden, his snoring stopped. I knew that something had happened. I sneaked to the bed and saw the rat print on his neck. The rope was loosened by me. My husband yelled, and I took out some fruit to comfort him. He was not here. I turned and took out fruit, but I was thinking, vengeance is at hand. Just like the canary's destiny. The canary's destiny. The canary's destiny!
Why? What have you done, lady?
5 stitches. 5 stitches that were in pear apples. It were needles penetrating his throat. My husband was burning, and his hand was struggling. He died from suffocation. He died from suffocation. I'm not okay.
How can you murder your husband and act so calm? You are such a shameless
Shut up! I'm asking her, and you interrupt me? Get out of my sight. Right away. Get out.
As you wish. Shameless. Pathetic.
Shameless. Curse you! You men are chance.
What did you just say? Minute faster.
Yes, that was my name. What? My love had been trapped for years. There was nothing I could recall in my lifetime. What have I done this year?
How come, lady?
Get away! You fools! Mistakes were made! But what you marrying know about? Household and trifles? That was you made. What married women are suffering from is no more than a trifle to you. No, you folly and be judged.
Well, all you have to say, that's disgusting. I have mercy on you, but you're the jurist when it comes to women. Pray for it. And I got my duties. You get to yours. That's all done.
I see no guilt on you. Thank you.